Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Verdant NLC Div 2 Aftershow. Like Blueben says, the highlight of every Thursday. I'm your host, as per usual, Middlecott, and I'm going to be joined by another fairly familiar face here with Trajan. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, mate. Feels good to be the ultimate backup for this show. Just whenever Middlecott's too busy to find a real guest, I'm always there. He knows I've got nothing on Thursdays. You know, it's a quiet night for me. But
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
this saves it. This really brings it all together.
Just dropping that DM like 5 minutes to 9, like Trajan. We need someone else on the show, man.
After show, you up? You up after show? Question mark.
I like the idea that you're just like sat there in Discord waiting for me to message you. That's at least what's happening in my head. I don't know if that's actually reflected in reality at all.
I would just like to say as well, very quickly to Blueben in chat, I do want to know what knoppers are, and they're poggers.
I have no idea what knoppers are.
They're like little chocolate wafer marshmallow biscuits. That they're actually, you know, I did start just saying knoppers to people like for about a week instead of poggers, and they were like, "What the are you talking about? You've gone too deep, my friend."
Is it like some sort of like, is it like a Danish sweet or something?
I don't know. They're not from the UK. They appear in like those sections in supermarkets that are just full of like all of the import food that everyone's too scared to touch in the UK because of Brexit. So no one buys the knoppers but me. I'm the sole. I prop up the knoppers market in this country.
This is what you're referring to, yeah?
Yes.
With the wafer and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's like a UK equivalent of a knopper.
Probably. Like a marshmallow wafer.
Oh wait, it's got a marshmallow. Ah, it's not just the wafer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like cream or marshmallow. It's like a white soft layer, and that's all I want to describe that as. So,
do you know what? Do you know what I had the other day that was really bad? A Twinkie. Like
Twinkies are dog.
They get hyped up so much.
Yeah, man.
In like in like media and stuff, but they are just not good. I'm sorry, Twinkies. You
literally most American sweets and candy are actual low tier. Really just not good.
They really are. They're just not good. Like really it's too much. It's not even too much sugar. It's like the what's it, the corn syrup? I can't remember what like the name for it is, but essentially like high fructose corn syrup. They just put that in everything. And then there's some pretty like sus like additives that they have as well.
Yeah, pretty sus overall. The stuff they put in that food, not knoppers at all.
Not knoppers. Knoppers are bangers. That's what I've got from this conversation. But CJ, this show is ostensibly, at least, about League of Legends, about a certain division of League of Legends, a certain League of Legends, if you will, the NLC Div 2.
Yeah.
We had some banger games today. I kind of want to start off with what was honestly one of the biggest upsets that we've had, which was Ube.
Yep, that's it. That's how you say that. Duckling can confirm.
Taking down Munster.
I mean, it has to be the biggest upset. It's literally the bottom to the top. We can't have a bigger upset than that. And I think that over the last few weeks, people who've been watching Munster games, the only thing that makes it less of an upset is people watching the last few Munster games and going, "Are they like trying? Are they really trying?" Because it seems like they would just steamroll everyone, right? Like, and I think 2 games ago or something, they had like a 20-minute win. They were just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, just so you know, we are still planning to come first," and they steamrolled, right? But then around that time, they've just been kind of just dying to ganks early game, which, you know, I like to flame my teammates for dying to ganks in solo queue because it is definitely their fault, and in the same way that it is Monster's fault, you know? Getting ganked doesn't mean you have to die, guys, just like as a bulletin for you. So
that's quite BM. CJ, have you ever considered coaching?
I'd be a great coach with this attitude for sure. But you know, I'd get kicked from C9 for coaching that good. I think. But
what? Your style just wouldn't integrate into the wider coaching philosophy.
They have an idea of how they would like to coach. You see, Middlecott, and I think I just wouldn't fit into their rubric because I'm a mold breaker.
You're a mold breaker.
You also, I like to be rude. is what I mean by that.
You're a rude dude.
Anyway,
did you say?
I am a rude dude, but I'm a lot less nice.
But you're not.
Than rude dude.
You're not rude, dude.
No. But so for Munster, they gave up so much early game, right? And even in this game, they were still up in gold when it came into mid game by like 4k, and they had towers up, and they were still were in a position where they should win anyway. But then they actually just misplayed team fights. Like there was one around Baron where they just split horrifically, and like they could just peel back and all kill the divers, but they don't. 3 of them are diving forward, not doing anything. Their jungler and mid are just getting like 2v1'd, and it just gets really messy and disconnected. It just doesn't look like the Munster that we're used to seeing, right? And Chimera said he's not worried in the interview, which is good.
Yeah.
But I would like to see them turn it back on.
Are you worried if you're Chimera then? Is that the implication?
From my position as a viewer, any person who is watching these games has to be like, what different? Where Munster? Why is this happening now? You know?
Where's Jojo? Where's Jojo, man?
Where Jojo? So
where Jojo?
we there was a time when Orbe looked like they were getting better, and then that kind of ended, and they went all the way back down again. Yeah. And I don't know if this is them like getting better again, or if it's just Munster falling down. But when it comes to playoff series, like we need to not see that anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, we're not going to be seeing Ube in playoffs.
No.
It's
kryptonite.
It feels like they've just been the blue shell team this split. Like I'm pretty sure they've beaten Munster. I think they've beaten Natives as well.
Yeah, they beat Natives. Yeah, it was the fun. That's what got Milo fired, I believe.
And all I'm saying, Verdant. Whoa, versus Ube. So do you want some pointers on how the week games? Just ask for the boys in green. Obviously, we played today against Natives. I feel like we had a pretty good composition to sort of like outpoke Natives and make it difficult for them to engage. But we took a couple of too many fights that we really didn't need to, and then credit to Natives, I think they snowballed actually fairly effectively.
It's fighting when you didn't need to be fighting, and not even didn't need to, should not have been fighting, right? And when we were in the call in the viewing party, and you were trying to explain to us all how the comp was good, and we were just like, nah, mate, they died, they lost, and you left, and I was like, oh, did we tilt Middlecott?
So I did actually had to leave for a legit IRL reason, so I wouldn't give yourself too much credit in that regard.
But I mean, I don't think we've had a single game where Udyr is picked where you've been like, yes, good Udyr pick. Like, what do you think is going? When should they be picking Udyr? Because it seems like none of the times we've seen it so far as the local Udyr aficionado.
So, CJ, when they win, it's a good Udyr pick. When they lose, it's a bad Udyr pick. But still, I didn't think Udyr was a good pick this game. Like, any champion that you can just run at, like, and dance around in Phoenix Dance is a good pick to pick Udyr against. Like, Aphelios just makes your life very, very difficult. But credit to Soleil, actually. He played a fairly decent Udyr game. Even though he went my least favourite mythic. Actually, no, my second favourite. I don't know. Udyr's cool, but pros generally don't play him as well as they should. But he was getting there. Sort of want to take a little bit of a break from talking about the games now, Trajan, because we do actually have a special guest joining us.
We do.
For
very
today's
special.
Today's episode of the show. So, everyone, let me introduce you to my dad. How are you doing?
It's Middlecott's dad.
I'm great, thanks. Yeah.
So, obviously, you've been watching a lot of NLC Div 2 to you. What do you think? How do you feel about the way that Shafty has progressed as a player from the start of the split to the sort of end of the split?
Thoughts? You're gonna have to keep it brief. You know you can go long on this one, mate.
Yeah, I know that you've got a lot to say about Shafty and the way that he's been.
I don't think you're going to have enough time for me to really give across everything that I've got to say.
That's fair enough.
He's a very complex player, you know. Brevity
is also very, very important. I think if you can't fully explain your point, then it's better off to just not make it. But Trajan, I thought what would be a cool thing for us to do today is obviously, my old man. I don't know how much I'm allowed to like roast him before he actually starts withholding food or something.
Or he comes out the door and busts into your room to turn your PC off. You know, it's bedtime, mate.
I'm just gonna get ganked at some point. But
ganked by dad.
I'm not even sure what that means.
You don't want to know. Just run and shout gank.
But, Jake, what I think would be quite a cool thing for us to do is to take all of the NLC Div 2 teams that we've got, and each sort of take turns, giving a little bit of an overview of the team, why they're exciting, why watching the way that they play League of Legends is really cool, and hopefully, once we've gone through all 10 teams and we've got my father's reactions, we've added another person to the NLC Div 2 view account. Because that's what this is. That's what this is really all about. It's about hearts and minds. It's about getting people on board, getting people on side, getting them engaged in the league, engaged in the content. So, Trajan, do you want to take the first spin, or do you want me to take this?
I'll take the first one.
Take the first spin. Okay.
Please.
Okay. So
no Domino, please no Domino.
No Domino.
Please no Domino.
You really don't want to talk about Domino?
I don't want to talk about Domino.
Okay. Right.
Oh please.
Right, so you are going to be. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, look at that.
God
it's
damn it.
Almost like I planned it.
All right,
Munster Rugby Gaming. League leaders. I was flaming them for the first 5 minutes of this call, but that's just because we need to keep them humble because they're so good, right? They have been slacking a little bit recently, but who wouldn't slack when you just completely clown on the entire league for the first 7 weeks of competition? They're still probably going to end up first. They have to win one more game when they're locked. And this is a team with players who are genuinely, Middlecott tier list aside, Div 1 ready. You know, it's the bot lane, you can play through them to win every game. They're flashy, they're engaged in the 2v2.
Trajan. Dad, do you know what a bot lane is?
It's the lane for the bot.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he had the 2 words to go and couldn't get them the right way around. So the bot lane is where your most kind of your win condition lives mostly right now.
Are you
the
sure?
One person.
Are you sure about
yes.
that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm questioning myself now. I'm being gaslit by Middlecott's dad. I don't.
How do I know whether I can trust you or not?
You can't, because Middlecott trusts me, and what does that say? What does that say about me? You know, I have no defense for that one.
Okay,
but
yeah. But
they are, without a doubt, on paper, and I think still from what we have seen, the Goliath of this league.
Yeah.
Okay. They are expected to qualify up. They are expected to perform above the level of this league, and while also meaning that they show very impressive gameplay at times, they are set up to create the storylines of people trying to beat them. They're the top of the mountain. By being so much stronger, they make everyone else more motivated. They make every match against them more impactful because you're going up against this mountain in front of you. And that's why the win for Orbe today, going from the bottom to the top, was so exciting. Because it got messy. They took them, took the fight to them at every level, and they won. It didn't matter for Orbe. They can't make playoffs, but they still got to go out on a pretty big high.
So, Dad, based on CJ's description of Munster Rugby Gaming to you, how convinced are you to watch their games on a scale of, let's go, I don't know, 1 to 6, just because it's a bit weird?
Why 6?
Why 6?
Yeah.
I deliberately picked a weird number. I literally just said that. Yeah.
This is
13.
This is all your fault.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Nice.
Fuck you.
218% success rate.
Excellent.
It's
Excellent.
just...
Poggers. Right.
Oh
next
boy.
team. Right. So I really hope I don't get. I don't know what to talk about. For
no one wants Domino, man. No one wants Domino.
Oh yes.
So that's actually probably second best option. Go for it.
So Rate Gaming. Dad, you know how I told you, like back in the summer, I was really happy because I got UKEL?
Yes.
Do you actually remember, or are you just saying yes?
Yes.
Not smile and wave, just nod and smile. When he talks about the gaming, just...
But
these were
one of the first sort of like teams that I cast, and the roster has been through a lot of different iterations, but they've got this big carry player called Arcane Teddy that plays a lot of different aggressive characters, and loves to like 1v1 and 1v2 people and try and kill people, like just in scenarios that you really shouldn't. They've got a couple of other players on their team. They've got this guy called Born This Way, who's one of the best Malaysian players in the world. Big dubs for Malaysia there. He's playing for them in the jungle, running around the map, getting a load of fights, getting a load of kills happening. They started off this split a little bit shaky, a little bit rough. That could have been because their organization that they were attached to before the split started fell apart. So they were playing for like multiple weeks with not really as much support as they could have been, but then they got picked up by Rate at the end. They've been on a huge win streak, and they are looking like one of the top teams in the division. Dad.
They did have a better logo before.
They did have a better logo before. It doesn't look great now.
Yeah.
What is their logo actually? Hold on, I think I've got their logo here.
It's a black rose now.
It's the black rose. Oh, I don't have the black rose. That's very, very unfortunate.
Oh, bro.
Very, very unfortunate.
Just get the ghost back.
Oh, the ghost was good. The ghost was good. But Dad, your opinions? What's that saying to you? 1v1 style player, big carries. Do you like the sound of that?
Oh yes.
It couldn't have sounded less sincere. Yes, Jack. Yes, I love what you love. I'm very interested in your hobbies, Jack.
Yeah.
My dad would never do me like this. I'm gonna be honest.
What's going on?
He's really putting the senior in Middlecott Sr right now.
Trent, do you want to talk about Lightside?
Oh, I don't really want to talk about Lightside because
why do you not want to talk about Lightside?
Because they're on a 4-game loss streak, and I think they've made some bad decisions. But Lightside are one of the pinnacles of the Swedish League of Legends scene. So one of the great things about NLC is that we have so many regions that we get represented here from all of the Nordics, plus the UK and Ireland and Iceland as well. And Lightside have a lot of history in Sweden. They have a lot of history in the Nordic scene, and they're representing their country. And they give us exciting games. You know, teams like Lightside are very volatile. You never really know who's going to show up on the day. And as much as I don't know how much they are going to perform this season at this point, you know, that they've had their ups and their downs, they're currently on the downs, they at least keep you guessing every step of the way. And if you're going to watch something, you don't want to watch a game, you know what's going to happen. You don't necessarily want to watch, you know, Munster versus Orbe, because you know who's going to win that one, right? Right? But you don't want to watch a game, you know what's going to happen. And Lundqvist will keep everyone guessing all the way to the end. They have some stylish players as well. They've got Svene up in the top lane who can, you know, go for the big plays and try to carry his team on the back as well. But generally speaking, I think Lightside, while they do need some time to rethink and reassess going into next season, you cannot have a boring game with Lightside in it.
They're very fun. Very fun to watch. Is that something that vibes you, Dad? Like just chaos, a little bit of that uncertainty.
Do you like quality or like chaos?
Don't like it at all.
You don't like it at all?
I'm not keen on that.
You're not keen on it?
He likes quality League of Legends.
No.
Likes quality League of Legends. That's what I've heard as well. Well,
a man of culture
the next team here definitely provides you with quality League of Legends, because it's Ube. These guys, what at the start of this
guys,
this team, it looks like AAB, but I've been hounded by Danish people coming to my. That wasn't clear.
It's
my logo. I'm trying.
Orbe, no U. Orbe.
Orbe, yeah. So, Danish organisation attached to a football club there came in with an all-Danish roster, which is very, very cool. There were a load of people that were like really happy for them. Unfortunately, the players haven't really stepped up to the level of the league in the way that a lot of people would have liked. So if you want to find a plucky underdog that is going to try their damnedest and can occasionally take down the big boys, they're your team. But if you're wanting someone that's going to win for you week in, week out, probably not the play to support them.
Gunkus.
Gunkus. Oh yeah, they've got Gunkus, which is actually.
How do you feel about the name Gunkus?
How do you feel about the name Gunkus?
Does it? Do you like it? Does it make you upset? How do you feel about it?
Gunkus.
Gunkus.
Yeah.
Gunkus.
Yeah.
Gunkus. Not Gunkers. Gunkus.
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 Yes. Gunkus.
What is Gunkus?
Ooh, that
Gunkus is a state of mind.
Question, yeah.
Gunkus is a concept.
Or is it why is Gunkus?
He's a leader of men.
I think why is Gunkus is a question that a lot of people have asked at various times. I think this is the good thing, Trajan. This is why I insist on getting this guy on today, because when you get new people coming into this guy, you got new perspectives on the league. You got new perspectives on the narrative. Did I just random check my dad?
You did. You literally brought your dad onto the internet and then random checked him in front of 100 people. That's not respect.
It's not respect. It's not respect.
It's not respect.
It's homeless. Yeah.
Homeless.
Yeah. That's going to be you after the show, Middlecott.
I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Oh, I get to... Oh, I've stolen this from you.
You get to talk about Verdant. Brilliant.
Okay. Verdant are, in this league, a paragon of... They're trying to do this the right way. They're trying to leave a good impression on the league, on the scene, on the viewers, on the world at large. They are very big into environmentalism and green practice, and they put their money where their mouth is in that way, and Jack has been a big part of that as well, leading initiatives for this.
Hold on, this feels like I'm at school and you're my teacher.
I'm giving you your report card.
Evening.
Yeah. He's been very engaged in class.
Are there any stickers? Or maybe a star chart?
He's been very engaged in class. He's been playing well with others, and Verdant have as well with the joint viewing parties as well. Verdant are, despite the fact that they haven't had the results that people expected, they've underperformed literally on the Rift. As an organization, that is the kind of organization that you want to have in the league. They are leaving a good impression on everybody that kind of comes into contact with them, and teams can't win all the time. Someone's got to lose, and it's how you deal with that. And if you can do everything else around it, you can add content, you can add personality, you can add good principle to the league. I think that can only be celebrated for Verdant. So I think that we should support Verdant because they are trying to support us.
Yeah, we are, and all that. Before we go through these next 5 teams, I just want to jump back to something a little bit. Dad, I know that we spent a lot of time today talking about stuff that you're not particularly it's not in your area, right? It's not stuff that you're familiar with, right?
Well, I disagree. Yeah.
You disagree?
He's fighting you every step of the way here, mate.
Okay. In what way do you disagree?
I'll be challenging you later on some of this. Yeah.
On some of what?
It's definitely wrong. I don't agree with some of your perspectives.
Yeah. Any of them in particular?
Nice. Yeah. Call him out directly. Don't let him get away with a general statement.
All of them.
He's nice. He's beating you there.
Right. Come on. That's not fair. You can't just go, oh yeah, blanket. I failed as a father. He's awful. He's got bad opinions.
He's horrible.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What have you been up today? Today, Dad? How have you been?
What have we been up to?
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Can't remember. It was such a long time ago. Yeah. I've been sat on this chair in front of this computer for about 16 hours. Yeah,
that's not good.
I feel like maybe I'm a 17-year-old kid.
How many solo queue games have you played?
With that beard, maybe one.
None.
One game ages you like that. That's
is that how long it goes on for? Is it
16 hours? Yeah, is the length. Yeah, is the typical length of
an average game.
Yeah.
That's just how bloody hell, that's mad. You couldn't do that with physical sport, could you? Oh, no. You can. People do. They run for hundreds of miles, don't they?
They do. I've heard that.
Middlecott is going to the gym though. He's training.
I have been to the gym. I haven't been in
for the 16-hour stint.
4 days. Yeah, the 16-hour stint is maybe not coming. Maybe a little bit too ambitious. We'll jump through these final 5 teams just very brief because we're doing a little bit of info for you, Dad. But I feel like we're also giving anyone that hasn't watched as much of the league a brief overview of what's going on. But it's been exciting.
Domino.
No, you don't want Domino. Natives.
That's good.
Now, Natives are an Irish org that have somehow convinced themselves that they're Danish. And in that regard, they've brought on a lot of Danish stuff. They recently had to part ways with Milo, who's their analyst, because they lost to
Very sad.
Yeah, it was very, very sad. But natives are a fun team to watch. They can be a little bit weird sometimes in the characters that they pick and the way that they play, but they've also just got some very, very good players. Like their bot lane, the lane which is the bot, which you correctly identified earlier, is very, very good. Their top laner, one of their players, makes TikToks of himself farting, which is interesting. But fundamentally, they're a very strong team, and they've put themselves in the sort of second place spot just behind Munster. Definitely a sort of team that can be a little bit inconsistent and lose to teams that they really shouldn't do. But on their day, very, very hard to beat them.
Yes. Okay, this is actually probably the best of the rest. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure, I know Danskman's in the chat, but anyone who isn't him, I don't think would do Flung proper justice, or maybe Duckling. But for London United, they're similar to Rate, and there are, I think, a lot of players who... Wait, do they have anyone who's played on the same team? Did they actually
Icy Gale
rob them?
Oh no, Divinus was on...
Divinus, yeah. So there is some DNA shared between the two teams, and London United are also making that late game run for playoffs. They are one of the teams that keep the season so exciting right to the very end. And they do also have, they've made some roster changes throughout the season, and they do seem to have come out better for that at this late stage. But their core players, people like Icy Gale and Divinus as well, I think have really made themselves known. And they're a team that are constantly underestimated through pretty much all stages of their career. They're always being undersold. Icy Gale in particular, no one rates him. But every time they get into a lane, and suddenly they've lost, And even today, when he goes down twice before, the 5-minute mark, he still comes back and wins. And it's a player you cannot take your eyes off, because he will punish you. So I think that London United are a team that they're not like Lightside. They don't keep you guessing all the time, but you cannot relax in front of them. They are always ready to punish you for laziness or for underestimating them. And a team like that keeps all of the best teams on their toes, And they do need to be kept on their toes, it seems, because as you said, both of our top teams have let a bit more slip than maybe we'd expect. And that's just because they have such strong challengers below them.
Strong rest of the league, and oh my lord. Domino.
Yes.
So I don't know why you're laughing, Dad. You don't know why Domino is so difficult to talk about, because fundamentally, this is a team that just counters logic in so many ways. Like, they'll pick characters that are strong early game, and then they'll win later on into the game, versus compositions that probably they shouldn't do. They don't really play in a manner that at least I've been able to comprehend. But they keep finding themselves in the middle of the table. They keep challenging for playoff spots. And they keep getting wins in positions where I really feel that they shouldn't. They had a couple players that were really hyped up before the split started that didn't quite hit that same level of performance that people had necessarily expected out of them. But fundamentally, this is still a fairly solid outfit. And if you want a team that I guess is the benchmark for NLC Div 2, I'm pretty sure that Domino fulfilled that role fairly well. So if you want to watch if you want to watch a team that is like pretty standard, Dad, Domino are the ones that you want to be cheering for, okay? I hope that you're jotting all of this down, by the way, right?
He's keeping it all up.
Is there a test later?
Is there a test? Well, we're going to ask you at the end of this, like, which team that you want to support.
What was going on? I don't know.
That's fair enough. We've only got two teams left to talk about, and they're both meme teams, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. The John Dillerman of NLC Div 2.
No!
Esports.
No!
You can Google that one later.
No, don't do that. Oh.
Flung are They are in many ways the pride of Denmark in this league, because there are teams like Rate who are Danish, they picked up halfway through, and the players aren't really. The org just kind of picked it up, and Orbe have been hit and miss, mostly miss throughout here. Natives are masquerading as an Irish team, so they can't really claim them. But Flung have been, they're more like what Lundqvist is to Sweden. They're a staple of the Danish scene, and they have come in with a lot of pride with them. Their manager particularly is full of personality and is always, will go to bat for his team and his players no matter what. And they have been dealing with a lot of underestimation themselves. Erol in the mid lane, particularly, I think, was dumped in the D tier by the quote unquote analysts at the start, and has just only been looking better and better. They've got great. The team itself has great character as well. Bringing the Vangadif in the top lane.
Oh my lord!
The Vangadif that you can never count out in that top side, and I think they are one of the teams that has some of the most personality in this whole league. And they're a team that you want to support because they're fun and they believe in themselves and they're prideful and they're funny, and you just want to get behind them. A team to be a fan of.
Definitely,
Flung is probably one of, if not the best choice.
Definitely
in
up
this
there
league.
as like a fan team. Like really fun to watch. Then finally the final team, Lucent.
Why are you spinning it?
Why am I? What?
Yeah, Jack.
Well, that's a dumb question.
No.
You know when they
it
do
might
like,
land on.
No,
it
like
might land
when
on
they
the
do
line.
like the draws and they're like fondling the balls in the things. Like they'll pick out like 3.
Fondling the balls.
Well, I'm sorry. Is there a better terminology for whatever that motion is?
This is the kind of content that he puts out on the internet, just every week.
Yeah, like you're doing the balls and they pick one out and then they pick one out and they pick one out and there's one left and they still do this, even though it's so obvious.
No, they never get to picking one out because someone's already won before they get to the last ball.
No, but when they're doing like draws for like not the lottery, like a draws for like a competition or something, like seeding, like a bracket, like seeding a tournament or something. They'll do that's not even what we're talking about, Dad. I just span it because I've span it the last other 9 times, man.
Well, you should think about what you're doing.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying my best. Oh.
Is that your best?
Dude, you can't.
This is not needed. This is not needed. Yeah.
Jeez.
Lucent.
Yeah.
Lucent. Their coach is a low bob, and their 80 carry smells of cheese. That's all you need to know.
True. That is it.
So, Dad, now is time for apparently the most important part of this entire thing. That I've decided it's the most important part. Which of these teams now are you feel like you're going to be supporting in NLC Div 2? Are we going for Domino, Rate, Munster, Lightside, AAB, Verdant, Natives, London United, Domino, Flung, or Lucent?
Irby.
Fine.
There it is.
Fine.
There it is.
Is that the wrong choice? Yeah.
No, they just beat the top team.
It just sounds exciting.
I think it's a good choice.
I think anybody that can be at the bottom, anybody that can be at bottom and beat the people at the top, that's got to be exciting.
I respect that.
It is, as the kids say, content.
So, are we going to be seeing you sort of in Copenhagen with a Danish flag cheering them on or something? Is that what we can expect?
Did you not see me there before?
Do you know what? I actually haven't been.
Did you just wonder why he said he'd gone out for milk and didn't come back for half a month? Just
I'm leaving you. Yeah.
Sorry, son. I was supporting an esports team in Denmark.
I'm leaving you to be an Orbe fan. My real son.
Is there a t-shirt? Is there a t-shirt?
I mean, you probably can actually.
Swagneros, link it in chat. He's their coach. He's in chat.
Can you get in contact? Like, I feel like we do need a jersey. That needs to be sorted out.
Oh
Lord. Dad, thank you for jumping on the show. I've really appreciated you being here. Anything that you wanna shout out? Any streams that you're doing? Any tournaments that you're competing in soon?
Yeah.
All the stuff I'm working on at the moment. Yeah, I can't really talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What NDAs have been signed or something?
Well, I just don't want to give the game away too soon, really. So we'll get into it, and I'll be publishing it later on, I think.
It's going to be featured in the next God of War game as Kratos, I think, is my guess.
Something like that, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. Dad, thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you for agreeing to this. I really don't know why you did. Have a good one.
I think it's great.
It's nice to take part rather than just having to listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine it is.
Bit of quality time.
Quality time indeed. See you later, man. Take care.
Right.
And yeah. I'll see you in like 15 minutes.
Put tea and biscuits down at the dinner table. Yeah.
Oh my word!
Bye, mate. It was a pleasure.
Sometimes, Trajan, I have ideas, and no one stops me from doing them and executing on them. Which...
No, that's the creative freedom that you're allowed is really illegal. Honestly, I'm not sure how you get away with it.
I think there are genuine downsides to the amount of creative freedom that I have.
Yeah.
And today was an example of that. Just before we go, usually what we do is we bring up the matches for next week, just go through them very quick, whistle top stop, just to like pretend once again that this is actually a legitimate League of Legends show where we talk about League of Legends, Trajan. Yeah. So if we're just going to pull those up on screen for us now. Sorry, I'm just being a little bit sus with how I work out. Can you do some padding, please? Say something.
Do some padding. I can do a little dance. I can change the color of my light bulb to different things.
Ooh.
There we go. Look at the guys. Look at the flashing lights.
Look at the flashing lights, guys. Whoa, look at the lights. Look at the lights. Look at the lights.
Whoa, look what's it going to be.
Woohoo, woohoo. And woohoo, we're here with the thing. And it's all ready. Easy. Look at that. Right.
Nice.
So, Trajan. That was very smooth. That was very smooth. We handled that well. So next week,
that's why I bought this.
Final week of the split. And very, very important stuff. So we've got some big matchups coming down. I think the Verdant London United one is actually very, very big for standings implications. I'm not sure. I haven't worked out all the tiebreaker scenarios like in my head, and I haven't looked at the foldy sheet. I don't know whether Verdant can still qualify for playoffs.
No. No. There's 5 teams with 7 wins, right? And Verdant has 5 wins, and there's 2 teams with 6 wins. So I guess if London lose their game versus Verdant, then you're both 6-6. And then if Lundqvist lose to Natives, that's fine. And then if Lundqvist lose to Lucent, I guess if Lundqvist 0-2,
is there hope?
And if London 0-2, and if you beat Munster on the last game of the season, the last day of the season, then you would.
That would be a banger. That would be a banger. I'm ready.
Then you would have 7. Yeah. So you could leapfrog into a tie with Lucent.
I don't think we've got the head-to-head with Lucent.
Oof.
I don't know. Someone smarter than us should probably like look at this and get this sorted.
Lucent, yeah, you're 0-2 to Lucent, so you don't win that one.
You're right. Let's not worry about that.
But Domino as well. If instead Lucent they beat Domino, and then Domino lose to Orbe, which I mean, let's be honest. And then you have 0-2 over to Domino, so no.
So we're out.
You lose both tiebreakers. I think so. I think you lose both tiebreakers against the 2 possible 7s. Because both Domino and Lucent, you're 0-2 against.
It's just a league. It's just really manner. It's just like.
It's just a game. It's just video games.
It's just like pixels on a screen. Really, it doesn't really matter too much.
Pixels on a screen. That was my favorite thing to type to my raging teammates.
I think
was just pixels on a screen, mate.
I think I think you're giving this too much credit than it actually deserves, to be perfectly honest. But even though we're not in playoffs, Sag, we can still play spoiler, which is the goal of literally every single team that isn't in playoffs at any point.
You can continue tilting Munster into their playoff match.
Tilting Munster is a W. Aside from the other games, it feels like we've got so many that are going to be important for standings implications. Like Rate getting as many wins as they can, obviously important to keep themselves in sort of that third place spot. London United on a bit of a mad tear, but still crucially just outside the playoffs as it currently stands. But looking at their last week, I think they've got a non-zero chance of making it into that playoffs and getting into that berth.
For sure. I think that it's we do still have 8 teams, I think, that are in contention. Which is crazy going into the last week, having, especially down the slower end. We've got our top 2, that's fine. We kind of knew it going in. We kind of knew that going in. They had some stumbles, some ups and downs, but they got there in the end. That's fine. But Rate has now they've climbed up they've secured their playoff spot at least, right? When that was in question, for so many weeks, we were like, whoa, they're just looking like they're barely going to scrape it. They and Flung have now decidedly made that step up. So we've got that top 4 locked in, but the last 2 are actually really, really close. And I think that I would pick London out of that pack as the best option, the literally the best team currently playing out of that set.
I think if you look at their record as well, like they're the only winning team sort of in that clump.
There's a lot of lost streaks down there.
A lot of lost streaks. And I mean, like to a certain extent, there's always that how strong are the schedules going on? We're not really going to have time to look into that now, but winning generally means that you're going to win more, and losing generally means that you're going to win more. Like any competitive anything, it tends to have streaks in it, where statistically they probably shouldn't, but it's just the way that psychology and all that stuff works. But I think I'd agree with you. I think if there's any team
who do you take from Domino and Lucent to join London?
Well, again,
that's the most likely option to join them.
This is not knowing head-to-heads.
Yeah.
I feel like Domino just have a clutch factor. I feel like Domino just are more likely to just randomly get a win. And I think that if you look at Lucent stylistically, number of lanes that they can really play around, is one of my issues.
I don't really get Lucent, I guess. I don't really understand
the concept of Lucent. Yeah.
No.
Oh, these standings aren't updated.
No, they're not updated for today's games.
Okay.
So they're indicative, but they're not like as accurate as they could be. But I think that I do also think that Domino. We've seen moments where Domino were overperforming our expectations, right? And looking really, really strong. For no reason whatsoever.
Yes.
And they might just do that again because it's Domino.
Yeah.
And they could do anything at any time. For no reason.
At any point in the game, it can randomly win. Which is quite scary and intimidating.
Yes. So I don't think that they make it past round 1, of playoffs. I think that in a series environment, that doesn't pan out. It's same for Munster, even though they have these weird games, I don't think that plays out in a series environment versus natives, of course. Yep. We'll see how that goes. But I think against any of the other teams, I think even just the best of 3, the quality just overcomes in that environment. So I would imagine that whoever scrapes it at the bottom is going to stay there. I don't think they could take a series off of Rate, especially Rate right now, or Flung. Yeah. And Rate is, for me, the most important thing that I want to see going into this last week. If they keep it up into last week and then into playoffs, we have to start thinking about maybe putting them with natives and Munster in just like a power level, because they beat Munster. They started Munster onto this kind of questionable streak that they're on. They haven't really put a foot wrong since.
No, not really. And I think that is even more surprising for me, considering that this is in a split that has had a couple of teams that have made significant roster moves and organizational moves as well. I think that Rate probably did that early enough that it didn't affect them as much coming in later in the split, which obviously at the time must have not felt like a blessing, but having all of that baggage sort of before you and dealt with coming into the final week definitely sets you up. Trajan, I think we are going to be wrapping up the show there. If there is anything that you want to shout out, any people, any broadcasts that you're going to be on, feel free to do it right here, man.
Well, this Sunday at 6:45, I will be hosting Pendragon Esports last match in Division 3, and if you check the various Twitters, there are all sorts of Division 3 matches going on, just at random times, because it's all organized by the teams. I am actually in my Pendragon uniform today, so, you know, we'll all be right and proper coming into that last game, and we'll see how that shakes up, and given that Div 2 is, you know, it all feels so close.
Yeah.
To Div 1, and Div 1 feels so close to LEC now, as all of the ERLs do, that I can't help but care about it, you know? I didn't used to watch NLC. I didn't used to watch the NLC religiously at all up until this year. And it's not like I'm not now part of it, you know? I'm just as not a part of it as I was before. Yeah. I'm just a guy, but it feels like with this reshuffle that it is way clearer the path up to literally the LEC from here. You know, every year the stories come through, and that's why I think we should be paying attention to these leagues. And the production's only going to get better. It's already had a massive jump up, and I think that they deserve the support, and I would love to give it to them, and I'd love everyone else to give it to them.
I think that crucially, NLC feels a lot more like a region to me now, rather than a thing at the top of the disparate like.
That's just the UK, but yeah.
But it feels a lot more like an actual unified region rather than just like the UK doing its thing, and then you had like Nordics, which was again there was a lot of division in there as well. It feels a lot more focused in a sort of a similar direction. And I think it's been a painful process. I don't think anyone would dispute that, but I think
not clean.
I think that we're going in the right direction, which is the really cool thing. Next time that you're probably going to see me is on Sunday, I believe, casting some LGL with a certain Cool Dark and Hampson individual, which will be very, very fun. But that is going to be doing it for us this evening. It's
not me.
Thank you very much. It's not you. Not particularly tall. Well, neither am I. Thank you, everyone.
I'm 6'2", Shortlecott, Whittlecott from down there, okay?
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Verdant NLC Div 2 After Show. It's been great seeing you. We're going to be here same time next week. Goodbye!